everyone. Today I am going to teach you how to make cinnamon French toast. Now, cinnamon French toast is a great recipe because you can have it for breakfast or you can have it for dinner. And it's so good and it smells great while you're cooking it. So I have my recipe here. I've already washed my hands for 2 versions of Happy Birthday to You and dried them, and I'm ready to get started. So my recipe is on my Google Classroom, and the first step is break eggs into a bowl. Okay, so I've got just like a regular size cereal bowl here, and I'm gonna break 2 eggs into the bowl. Now, when you break eggs into the bowl, you kind of want to be careful so you don't get any shell into your recipe. But if you do, it's not that big of a deal. All right, so I've got 1 egg. What I'm going to do is kind of hold it like I'm throwing a fastball, okay? With my fingers over the top like this. I'm going to tap, tap, tap on the side of my bowl until I get a crack in it. Then I'm going to put my thumbs in and pull it apart. Okay, I have a crack in there now. Put my thumbs in there and pull it apart. Now, if you see a little piece of shell get into your bowl, what you do to get it out, the easiest way is to use the big piece of shell and scoop it out like that. Okay, I'm gonna throw this in the garbage, and I need 1 more. So again, hold it like you're throwing a fastball, fingers over the top, tap, tap on the side of the bowl, put your fingers in there and pull it apart. Check to see if you have any shell in there, which I don't. If I did, I could scoop it out. Now, I just touched raw or uncooked egg, and that has salmonella bacteria on it, and that can make me sick. So whenever you handle uncooked eggs, before you can go any farther, you need to go wash your hands. So I'm gonna real quick run over to the sink and wash my hands again before I go any farther. Again, I'm going to use hand soap, and I'm going to go through, in my head, 2 versions of Happy Birthday to You. I'm going to get the tops in between the fingers, all around, up the wrist, and using warm water. Scrubbing that, and it seems really good. Okay, I'm going to dry that. All right, so now moving back over to my demonstration table. And I'm ready to scramble those eggs. So step 2 says beat the eggs with a fork until they are light and fluffy. So I'm going to take a fork and I'm basically going to break up the yolks and mix that egg yolk and egg white together. Now, some kids get worried when I say we're going to be cooking eggs because they say, oh, I don't like eggs. Or they say, oh, I don't want to eat eggs. That's a baby chicken. No, it's not a baby chicken. What it is the food that a baby chicken would eat if it was growing in the shell. But there's no baby chicken growing in the shell from eggs that we buy at the store because there's no male chickens at the chicken farm in the big barns where they have all the chickens. So since there's no male chickens there can't be any baby chickens in the egg. All right, so we've scrambled that. Now step 3 says stir in the milk, salt, and vinegar. So I look up at the top of where the ingredients list is, and I need 1/4 cup of milk. Okay, so I've got my milk, and milk is a liquid ingredient, so I'm going to use a liquid measuring cup. Okay, and I need 1/4 cup. So I look at the side of the measuring cup where it says 1/4 cup. And I'm going to get down eye level so I get a good measurement and get 1/4 cup of milk. Okay, perfect. And I need a pinch of salt. So that would be like 1 shake of salt, or whatever you can pinch in your fingers. Sprinkle that in. Just a pinch of salt. Okay. And a teaspoon of vanilla. This gives it some great flavor. Okay. Put in a teaspoon of vanilla. Now, when you measure a liquid into a measuring spoon, don't pour over the bowl, because if you spill too much in there, you've ruined all these ingredients. So what I want you to do is pour it off to the side. If you spill, it's okay. You just have to wipe it up. No big deal. And just fill this up to the top as far as you can. Okay, there's my 1 teaspoon of vanilla. That's gonna go in. It's gonna give it a really good flavor. We're gonna beat that all in. Okay. We're gonna add the cinnamon later. All right, stir in the milk, salt, and vinegar, step 3. Now we're on step 4. Melt 1 tablespoon of butter in each skillet on medium heat. Now, when we make this at school, we're gonna use 2 skillets at a time, and 2 kids are gonna be cooking at a time. So 1 kid will cook it, while the other, there'll be 2 pans in your unit, and 2 people will cook, and then the other 2 people will cook. But for right now, I'm just gonna cook 1, but that's how you'll do it when we cook it in class. Okay, so right here, I have what's called a hot plate. This is a little portable electric stove. It works great for me doing a demonstration. Also, some people might have these in an apartment or even use these when they're camping, okay? It works great for demonstrating up here for you. But when you cook it, you're gonna be cooking it on your stove. Now there's 2 kinds of stoves. There's electric stoves and gas stoves. Electric stoves plug into the wall, and you just turn them on, and that coil, the burner, gets kind of red hot, and that's when you know it's ready. The other type of stove is called a gas stove. A gas stove actually has a little blue flame pop up. There's actually a fire that cooks the food. And as soon as you turn it on, it's hot, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over to the electric stove, and I'm gonna show you how to light it. The reason I'm showing you this is because the electric stoves have the gas stove has an extra step that electric stoves don't. With electric stoves, you just turn the knob to high, medium, or low, and then wait a little bit and it gets hot. But with gas stoves, you have to light it first. All right, I'm gonna walk over to the gas stove. Okay, you can see this gas stove has 4 burners and a knob that goes with each burner, okay? You look and there's a little picture by the knobs, and the little picture will show you which knob which burner that knob goes to. So this one has a little dot colored in on the bottom right, so that would be that burner right there. So the first thing I do is I look at the knob. There is one setting that says ignite, or sometimes it says light, okay? You have to turn it to that spot first, and then you'll see the flame pop up, and then you turn it to high, medium, or low. If you don't light it first, then gas will just go into the room and you'll start to smell it, and it actually could cause a fire or an explosion in your house. So always want to make sure you light the stove before you turn it to high, medium, or low if you have a gas stove. All right, so we're going to turn it to ignite, and we'll wait for the fire to pop up. Okay, I see a blue flame there. So now I can go to high, medium, or low, whatever is required for my recipe. Okay, I'm going to show you that one more time. So it's off now. I'm going to push it in, turn it to ignite until the blue flame popped up. I don't know if you can see it there. And it's ticking. You don't want to leave it ticking because then it's on ignite. And it's trying to ignite. We don't want to leave it there. So once the blue flame pops up, then you turn it to high, medium, or low. Okay, and then always make sure you turn it off. Now here's the problem with gas stoves. If I just turn it quickly to say medium, without lighting it first, you can hear like a little sound. that's the gas coming out into the room. That's very dangerous, okay? Never just turn on a gas stove to high, medium, or low. You always have to ignite it first. Okay, I'm gonna walk back over to my electric burner over here. Okay, so with electric stoves, they're good. You don't have to light them first, which is nice, but you do have to wait for a few minutes for it to get hot, and then you gotta wait quite a long time, like 15 minutes for it to cool down. After I turn it off, when I'm all done cooking, it's gonna stay hot for a while. So you really have to be careful that you don't touch that even when it's off. Okay, so it says melt 1 tablespoon of butter in each skillet on medium heat. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this skillet on medium. So this one goes from 1 to 6, so medium would be 3, right in the middle. Now I'm gonna get my tablespoon of butter. Okay, and I'm gonna use a 1 TBSP, 1 tablespoon, and my rubber scraper, or some people call this a spatula, and I'm gonna fill that up and then scrape it across. Got my 1 tablespoon, put that back. Okay, and then I'm gonna add that to my frying pan. Now, this is called a Teflon coated frying pan. You can see how it has that black coating, okay? This is great because things don't stick to it. But with Teflon coated frying pans, you do have to be careful because if you use a fork or anything metal and go across like this, you will scratch that black coating and then it'll start to flake off and then everything will stick to that pan. So you want to make sure that whenever you're cooking in a Teflon coated pan like this, you don't use anything metal. So what I have here, this is called a nylon pancake turner, or some people call it a spatula, and this will not scratch it. So this, and you can also use like a rubber scraper that's not metal. Things like that are fine. You just can't, wooden spoons are fine. You just can't use anything metal. Okay, so we're melting that butter. Gotta wait until it gets sizzling. You can see how it takes a little bit longer because this is an electric stove. So it takes a little longer for it to get hot. Okay. While I'm waiting for that butter to melt, I'm gonna read the next step. The next step is 5. When the butter is melted, dip the bread slices into the mixture. Make sure both sides are coated with the mixture. Do not soak the bread. Okay, so when this gets melted, I'm gonna take and dip both sides into the egg mixture and then put it into the frying pan, okay? Now it says do not soak the bread. You don't want the bread to sit in there for a long time and get super soaked because then your French toast kind of turns out mushy. It's best if you do it quick dip, and then right into the frying pan. What I'm gonna do is make a quick walk right over and get some paper towels because I've been feeling I'm gonna need some. Okay. All right, this is starting to heat up, get melted. We're gonna wait till it gets a little more hot, a little sizzly. Okay, oh, there, it's starting to sizzle. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my egg mixture close to my frying pan, dip, put it into the frying pan. You wanna dip it very quickly so you don't soak the bread. Okay, and then right in. Okay. Now, I am on step 6. Place in the frying pan, sprinkle with cinnamon, turn bread with a pancake turner until both sides are golden brown. This will be so good. All right, so we're gonna let that cook. And I'm gonna sprinkle this side with cinnamon. There we go. Be careful because with these shakers, the cinnamon does come out really fast. Now we're gonna let this cook for a little bit because the pan wasn't quite as hot as I would have liked it. So we're gonna let this cook a little bit till it starts sizzling a little more, and then we'll use our pancake turner spatula to turn it over. Okay, you can see it's starting to sizzle a little bit around the edges. It's getting there. I can hear it sizzling now. It smells good. I wish you could smell it, the cinnamon. It smells really good. So like I said, you're gonna have 2 people cooking at the same time. 2 people will cook in your group, and then the other 2 people will cook in your group, because each kitchen unit has 2 little frying pans like this. So you'll each make your own piece of French toast. All right, you can see it's starting to bubble around the edges, sizzling. Just check it there. It's not quite done yet. And wait till it gets a little browner. Now, what I have to put on top is I like to put butter on top of mine, let it melt, and then put a little bit of syrup. Some people also like to put powdered sugar on their French toast. That tastes really good too. Okay, I think it's starting to cook. Let's give it a turn, see how it looks on this side. Oh, see, it's starting to get some golden brown spots. While it's on this side, I'm gonna give it a little sprinkle. Again, be very careful, because hold it more like this, not upside down, because it comes out super fast. You might even want to take this part off, the sprinkle part off, put some on a paper towel, and then do a pinch like that. That might be a better idea, because this comes out really fast. What you could do is take the lid off, the sprinkle lid, put some on a paper towel, like that, and then you could just take some in your fingers and sprinkle it. That'd probably be a better idea. All right, I'm gonna turn this over again with our pancake turner, see how the side's doing. Good. Now you wanna cook it until the egg parts are golden brown, and it kind of has a little crispy feel to it. It doesn't feel mushy. Because you wanna be really careful that you don't eat uncooked egg, because that salmonella can make you sick. This side looks pretty good. Let's see, I'll check the other side underneath there. You can see it's got some golden brown color on the edges, real good. I don't like to smash mine down. I know some people do. I like to keep it nice and fluffy. And I think this is done. It's got golden brown spots. It's nice and crispy. When I touch it, I can feel that it's crispy. Both sides, you can flip over, golden brown. Got that crispy feel. So I'm gonna turn this off. Okay, and I'm gonna get my plate. Now I still have enough egg and milk mixture to do 3 more slices of bread. Now once it's done, you want to get it out of there, because even though I turn this off, this is going to stay hot for a while. I'm going to put this on my plate. Now this pan, this burner is still really hot. I cannot even touch that. So if I left this on there, all this leftover cinnamon and butter would burn to the pan. So I want to get that off. What you can do is when you're not cooking, you can just move this to a back burner, and that way you don't burn anything that's in the pan. I'm going to quickly move this over. I can set it on a hot pad. I'm just going to set it on top of the stove over there. You don't want to set a hot pan on top of your counter, because it will melt your counter. Okay, I'm going to be real careful, move that over to the side. It's very hot still, because it is an electric stove. It stays hot for a while. All right, now I'm gonna get a little bit of butter on my knife. I'm gonna spread it on, it's so good. So it melts. I wish you guys could smell it. It smells delish. And then I like to just put a little bit of syrup. You don't need a lot with French toast, because you've already got the vanilla in there, the cinnamon. If you use too much syrup, you won't taste all those yummy flavors. I just like a little drizzle of syrup. Okay, and now to eat it, I'm gonna get a clean fork and I'm gonna cut it into little pieces. So what you do is if you're right-handed, you're gonna hold your knife in your right hand. If you're left-handed, you hold your knife in your left hand. I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna hold my knife in my right hand, my fork in my left. You use the fork to hold the French toast in place, and then you cut with the knife. And I'm gonna cut it into small bite-sized pieces. Turn my plate this way. Okay, those are nice bite-sized pieces. And now, what we've been waiting for, I'm going to try it. Can't wait. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. I can't wait for you to try this. It's so good. The vanilla, the cinnamon adds excellent flavor. And the butter melted. I mean, it's like a dessert, but it, is a meal. So I hope you try this at home and yours turns out as great as mine did. Thanks. Bye.